Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. Want to learn how to get back your ex? Check the link in the description box to learn how. I think my wife is having an emotional affair. Leaning toward leaving, but don't want to hurt my children. Hello, I am new to Reddit and appreciate a place where I can share this thing that is tearing me up inside. So I'm 34 male. My wife is 33 female and we've been together for almost 13 years. 8 of those years married. We have 3 children. With the rigors of life and work, I would find myself working long hours and trying to use the rest of the time with her and the kids. Things seemed okay until I looked on the phone records one day and saw this strange number on her account. She called and texted this number many times, often when I'm at work, as well as this number calling and texting her. Picture messages and all. My gears start to turn and I ask her about it. She then told me she was communicating with this guy. He's in jail for M-ring someone, and they met on Facebook. I naturally told her to stop communicating with this man and she told me she would. Days went by and I was still mad as hell. Working hard, paying the bills, cooking, freaky sex as much as I can get it, never cheated, and I still realized this fate. I was so hurt that I actually cried in front of her for the first time we had been together. All she did was console me and we had sex in an old shed. We were in the country. Months went by, but I still had a bad feeling about this situation. After texting about it, she expressed how she is sorry she hurt me and how she wants to be with me forever, blah blah blah. So one day we were just hanging out at the house, kids just left to go with their grandparents, and I checked the mail. It was from the Department of Corrections in my state. What is this? I asked her with an angry look on my face. She snatched it out of my hand and opened it. She read the letter, tore it up and went to work. She said nothing at all and left. When she was gone, I went to the trash can and taped all of the shreds together. It was a denial letter of visitation. My heart dropped and I became extremely sad. This sadness quickly turned into anger and I haven't looked at her the same since. I try to talk about it with her and she doesn't want to, unless she's at work, third shift, and she can text. Up to this point, years after learning of her trying to go see him, they still communicate with each other when I'm not around, sometimes when we're hanging out at home. I've expressed to her how I don't like this situation, and she just acts like nothing is wrong and just tries to throw a bandage on it with sex. She could get me before, but not now. I'm on the fence with this marriage. She's beautiful and a great mother, I just don't see her the same. I've unfortunately built up resentment towards her that ends up with a cold bed at night, her on one side and me on the other. Sometimes I want to leave but I think about my young children, 2 of which are in elementary and 1 in middle. I grew up without my father so I know how that feels, and I don't want that same fate for my kids, little people who didn't ask to be here. At this point in my life, I just want peace of mind. To not stress about who the person I love deeply is taking/texting. Also not make her feel bad for her wanting to fill some type of void in her life. This guy and I are total opposites. I've never been locked up, and I can handle any situation that comes up. Maybe she doesn't know what to do with someone like me and this other guy is completely dependent on other people. I don't know. Am I being controlling and insecure? Are these just the rigors of marriage? Any advice is appreciated. Here are some of the best comments from our community. You think she's having an EA? No buddy, she is having an EA. She's not going to stop having an EA. Simply because you've not held her accountable and have not given her consequences for her actions. You've trained her that giving you sex will get you off her back, so she can go back to communicating with her convict in peace, until the next time you chime in. She knows exactly how to manipulate the situation. You get laid, she does her thing, rinse and repeat. As long as you keep doing what you're doing, she'll keep doing what she's doing. If you want to stay married and keep your family intact, you have to handle your business. Set a firm boundary, with crystal clear consequences for violating them. Then be a man of your word, something you have not been so far. I can't tell you who to talk to or what to do, but if you continue to communicate, in any form, with this murderer, I will have no other option than to divorce you and move on with my life without you. Boom. End of discussion. If she gives any pushback, at all, arguing, denying, negotiating, anything, you serve her divorce papers. You follow through. If you've already had enough of her bullshit, get to a lawyer and go over your options. Serve her papers and explain exactly why you're divorcing her. No need to argue about it, state your reasons and end the conversation. You can tell her that the divorce will be final in, say, 4 months. Your lawyer can let you know how long it takes so she has that exact amount of time to convince you to stay, but without concrete and verifiable actions, not words, on her part, you're done. Stop beating around the bush and allowing her to dictate your life. Stand up for yourself, because no one else will. While you mull it over, enact the 180 treatment, to the letter. Nothing will get better until you decide to actually do something, bro. Your wife is a fucking lunatic, first of all. What person in their right mind would communicate with someone who is in jail for that? Actually, if you think about it, she may be looking for a way to get rid of you. It's not that far-fetched. This guy gets out of jail, he comes and finds you and murders you, and she thinks she can get off scot-free and just claim the guy was a jealous murderer. I'd file for divorce immediately. Whatever intentions this woman has with him, it is not good, and it is not anything that will benefit you or your children. This is quite simple. You are going to sue her for divorce. You are going to demand full custody, as she was attempting to have a relationship with a convict. Provide the letter denying her visitation as your evidence. Anything involving a criminal with her children will force the courts into awarding the safe, parent full custody. EAs are just as intense as physical relationships. Go see a lawyer, in fact see several. Show them the letter, and outline your case. Blindside her with the papers. Oh, and make sure her friends, parents and relatives know all about this. I was involved with something similar. Woman had dated the guy through H's, and when he went to prison, suddenly a switch went off in her head. She was in full-blown fog. She started making provisions to move her and the kids near the federal prison where he resided. He would be out in 5 to 10. BH gathers all of this, and has it entered as evidence. WW's lawyer fires her. Tells her there is no defense, and she had better rehab her image before court. Her new lawyer is very new and very naive. BH gets it all. The kids. The house. He gets child support. WW gets supervised visitation once every other week. She got a shitty little apartment and her near minimum wage job. The correspondence with her convict ended as it cost her everything but her life. BH cannot trust her, even though he knows she is desperate to get her old life back. Too bad BH is dating another woman. Oh, and peas, that visitation she was going for? Likely a conjugal visit. Now find a lawyer and shred this marriage. Your wife made it pretty clear that she will never cut contact with that guy, he is too important for her. She would rather go behind your back than to cut ties with him. He is more important to her than you, your marriage, or how a divorce might affect your kids. With that knowledge, you know your options. Stay with her and accept that she has a lover that she wants to meet and that she will stay in contact with, no matter how you feel, or pick up your self-respect. Show your kids how you should never allow someone to treat you, and serve her the papers. However you decide, if you stay with her, then you know exactly what your future will look like. Please also get tested for standards. Who knows how many other people your wife is in contact with that are not in prison. Some good advice here, but the very first thing you need to do ASAP is to find out when this guy may get released from prison. Then talk to a lawyer and police about how to protect yourself and your children should he ever get out. Make sure you and your family are safe before taking any actions. Clearly your wife is enchanted by him, and clearly he makes poor decisions when upset. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell.